Hohmann, having won the leg, how important it is for him to stamp his authority on this one.
Well, he's come off with a pretty firm break here. Gets the 3-ball down, but the 2-ball will frustrate him. No shot on the 1.
And with that 1 in such close proximity to that left corner too, this doesn't make the push out any easier. Thorsten will take a little time before he decides which area of the table to push to, and you really do have to be careful here, because the last thing you want to do is give your opponent a chance at a good attacking safety. This is far from easy. I'm looking at the table. I'm not sure exactly where Thorsten can push to try and accomplish both ends. Not to leave it on, and not to leave a good safety from which Vandenberg can attack. So you know what? He's just going to push this down, leave the bottom half of the 1. Or so I thought. Maybe what he's done is pushed it into an area where he can kick at it a little easier from the bottom cushion. But I think Hohmann's going to be playing this shot again.
But this is jumpable, isn't it?
Very good point, Bob. Very good point. Maybe, just maybe, Thorsten Hohmann knows that Vandenberg does not play jump shots well, and maybe Vandenberg knows Hohmann does. You see a lot of this on the American tour. And I think Vandenberg is going to test Hohmann's jumping ability.
We saw on that very first match, Jim, Hohmann very effective in jumping. Made a very long jump, and he used his playing cue, but now it appears he is going to employ the short stick.
Great shot. And there is what it takes to be a world champion. He just turned that into a little chess game. Played a move, knowing the move that his opposition was going to make, and capitalizing on that decision.
The gambit has paid off, and now Thorsten Hohmann will continue his march.
Doesn't want to be too straight here.
Well, the overhead shot seems to indicate that there is a slight angle, but he's got a lot of work to do to get from pink 4 all the way to the other end of the table for the orange 5.
Yeah, if he's got a little angle, and as you said, Bob, it looks like he's got just a bit. Might be able to force this through the 2 cushions to get back out towards the middle of the table for the 5. But again, there certainly doesn't look like a lot of angle, and he's got to miss that 8 if he does elect to go through. If not, he may have to just try and draw this back. Okay, he's going to try and force it through, so he's got to miss the 8 playing this shot. He just played the double cross on me. Couldn't miss the 8. Now it's a much tougher 5.
Just accepting the harder shot. But this is not exactly the kind of shot you want to use to shake the rust off your stroke here on the TV table. Plenty of real estate. And a pretty healthy angle also. An early test for Thorsten Hohmann. And he gets a C- or a D for execution and an A+ for luck. This white couldn't have finished better, and understandably he raises his hand in apology.
Mind you, Nick is still happy to get to the table, even though the shot that confronts him isn't an enviable one. Better than being sat in your chair. But Hohmann left himself a lot to do, and that one barely threatened the corner pocket.
Watch out.
About as good as Nick could have wished for there, too. And I've got a feeling that Thorsten Hohmann's going to be kicking at this from the side cushion. That was a great shot from Nick Vandenberg. The full hit is exactly what he was looking for, and that 8 came to his aid.
So the options here for Thorsten Hohmann, none of them particularly appealing.
You know something, Bob? The problem ball, where Thorsten's holding his cue right now, he has very little room for error in missing that brown 7. It looks like the cue ball is going to head towards the orange 5, but again, with it being so close to that corner pocket, the in-off is a very real danger. Now, what a way to kick things off here in the opening rack. A race to 9. And if this is any indication of what we're going to be treated to, this is going to be a dogfight. Look out.
Ball shot, ball in hand.
Well, that surely must mean the end of the opening rack here. And Vandenberg got his foot in the door. The mistake from Hohmann.
And here's the kind of layout you want when you want to get yourself relaxed and in gear.
You know, Nick looked pretty relaxed. He was sitting up in the press room prior to this match, just taking it easy, sitting down, watching the matches. And I thought to myself, you know, that's a relaxed looking man. A young man with bags of ability. And the Netherlands is well represented in this event as any. The only player not to have made it through the qualifying stages, Niels Fayen. But Rico Dix, we'll see how he progresses in this.
Vandenberg just a little bit straight here on the 7, but with the 8 ball hanging over that pocket, he won't be too concerned. He's just a little bit straight on this one as well.
You won't see any emotion from the German champion sat in his chair, winning or losing.
That's well played. Elementary follow shot off the 8 gives him good position on the 9.
This is just the way he would have wanted to start this one.
And I believe, Jim, we've seen our very first dry break on the TV table today. If you see on the read, look at the 2 ball just bouncing between the jaws of the corner pocket.
And even more noticeably, Bob, look at that 9 precariously perched up over the top corner. Any harder off that 1 and that 9 disappears. I wonder where that 2 is at the bottom of the table if you're not going to see Thorsten Hohmann take a flyer at this 9.
Is there any way of playing this 1 and taking the 9 at the same time with lots of bottom maybe?
Bottom and left hand spin. It's going to take a full ball hit and he's going to be drawing the cue ball over towards the 9. And there you go. That's how you get back into it in the blink of an eye. And this, a pretty good looking effort Got the one off the break, the wing ball as well. And he's got better than a 50-50 chance at this too.
Good look at the breaking technique there of Thorsten Hohmann. Employs a little bit of a leg kick a la Bustamante.
A la just about every European player, it seems, Bob. I see that from most of them. They just raise that one leg. Well, already the hard work has been done in this third rack. And Thorsten Hohmann has it at his mercy.
Could he be just a bit straight here on this 3?
Well, it's so close to the pocket though, Bob, you can manufacture an angle. Very easy to pinch the pocket when the ball is virtually over it. If there is going to be a hiccup, it's going to come in the form of the 7. And I don't anticipate any. Just has to ensure to clear the 9. Make sure that 9 is not in the path of the 7, and there was never going to be any danger.
When Thorsten Hohmann won last year's event, he was a rank outsider, but this year he comes in with a lot of confidence, as if he's really one of the best players in the world. But meanwhile, he has a bit of a ticklish 8-ball here.
Yeah, a little tougher than it could have been. Bob, just to expand on your statement too, that's why you have to be even more impressed with how he went through the round robin stages. You know, you come in as a defending champion, it's easy to put pressure on yourself. Not so.
Welcome back to the main table. When we last left this match, Thorsten Hohmann was leading 5-1. He leads over his Mosconi Cup teammate Nick Vandenberg.
And Hohmann still at the table.
Thorsten will be unfortunate that the white got batted around there, but he might have some sort of shot on the 1. You see the 6-ball going over and nudging the white to the other side of the table.
Looks like he may have an outside chance at a bank here. It's difficult to tell whether he can straighten this out enough. Yeah, our overhead perspective does nothing to really help out in that area either, because you want to be able to play a little bit of left-hand spin on this one.
But Thorsten Hohmann, a wonderful banker of the ball, but instead he's going for safety there, and he's conjured up a beauty.
Yeah, I couldn't quite bank that one. The left-hand spin would have kept distance between cue ball and 3, Bob. That's what I thought. So all the experience of the world champion coming to the fore here, and I don't know whether he's hidden this one, but this is the first time Vandenberg's gotten out of his chair in 3 racks.
For Vandenberg, it really is a question of getting that confidence back in his stroke. We saw him miss that very, very poor 5-ball a couple of racks ago that would have drawn him level with Hohmann. Now he just has to put thoughts of that miscue away from his mind and just focus on the task at hand, which is at the moment getting out of the snooker.
Well, this certainly looks useful. I think he's just returned the favor to Hohmann. Vandenberg knows he's got to keep a positive outlook on this. In the game of 9-ball, you get that break cooking and you can string the racks together and get back at any deficit. So there's no reason to hang your head yet. Still a long ways to go in this match.
But Thorsten Hohmann with a very tough situation here. What kind of escape are you looking at, Jim?
Well, he's going to go the right cushion. And where that 5 is, it looks like he's going to have to play a lot of bottom into the cue ball to bend it off that cushion, Bob. So see, he's digging into that white, and it'll bend from that cushion. Whoa, I didn't know he'd do that. And look at the position to the 3. How's your luck, Thorsten Hohmann?
Highlight reel material here on the TV table.
Yeah, these are the kind on the practice table you say the shot was nothing, the position was the key. Only on the practice table. Then you duck.
That's right, Jim. Thorsten Hohmann really taking out all the stops there, but a bit of a hiccup here. He's landed ugly here on this orange 5.
It wouldn't surprise me to see him try and bank this into the side pocket. He's grabbed the initiative back with a superb shot on the 1. Now, how brave does he feel? One thing about the bank shot, he can play it in a way to try and bring the cue ball off the 2 cushions and towards the 6, and he may even hide it if he does take it on. But you know what? If he runs for cover here, he's got that 7 down over the corner pocket too. He's got a couple balls to hide behind. This is just a matter of how you feel at the time. Being 5-1 in front would certainly help him to take an aggressive attitude.
Thorsten Hohmann is putting on a show here at the Taiwan World Pool Championship. 2 terrific shots as he tries to extend his lead over Nick Vandenberg.
Making sure to leave lots of angle on this 7 because he's going to swing the cue ball off the 2 cushions back into the area it is now.
There's no stopping the Hohmann Express just yet.
You know, these balls are not touching the cushions either. Ominous signs for Nick Vandenberg.
Let's pick up the action at the start of the 10th rack. Nick Vandenberg is on the comeback trail, having taken the last 2 racks. The score, 6-3 to Hohmann.
But Bob, how many times have we seen these top players string 4 or 5 racks together?
Many times, and with this table breaking the way it is, it's not beyond possibility. But a good break here by Nick Vandenberg, a corner ball down again, but let's take a look at this 3. Mosey on down and plant a kiss on this brown 7.
And what that means is there's going to be no clear-cut path to victory here. Vandenberg's going to be pushing regardless. He can't see the 2 ball. And look where that 2 is in relationship to the 9. So he's got to be very careful where he pushes to. Anything from which Hohmann would be able to attack that 9, rest assured he would, given the position of the 3. I think that's why Nick just wants to be a little more careful than he would normally.
Now he's looking at this spot here. If he's gonna put the white ball there, this looks a bit dangerous, don't you think, Jim?
It's dangerous, but in another sense, risky in as much as you'd be bumping that 9 over towards the corner pocket. That would be the intention. But if he leaves the 2, Always got to be careful leaving the angle for your opponent to be able to open up that 3. I don't think you're going to see Thorsten Hohmann attack the 9 from here. When I looked at it earlier, Bob, I thought the 2 was a little higher.
Yeah, but it turns out not even with a lot of draw will Hohmann be able to bump this 9 into the corner pocket. So Hohmann will have to think of something else here. Now Hohmann is taking a look at that 3. Perhaps he's thinking of a way to bust up that cluster sometime somewhere down the road.
He's probably seeing if they're touching, and he might be able to throw that 7 in. That would mean he would go for the 2 to the bottom left. So if he can throw this in, that's what he was looking at. That was a great shot on the 2.
Thorsten Hohmann now, this is the key shot in this rack, and he's giving this a good look to see if the 3-7 combination does go. It's hard for us to see from this angle, but it appears it is makeable.
And if Hohmann knocks this in, it's going to be all about where that 3 goes.
That's sweet.
You know, in terms of experience and selection right now, it looks like a man playing with a boy. And if not for a little luck on Nick Vandenberg's part, he never would have got the last rack either. But here, pushing out into an area that he doesn't even come back to the table, that's inexcusable.
Meanwhile, that's not perhaps what he had in mind with this 6. He's a bit closer than he would have liked, but perhaps just a bit of a sliding ball to the right of your screen will do him in good stead here. Hohmann really having to reach out for this one.
Good recovery though. Dug into that cue ball and swung it off that right-hand cushion, and this 9 to get him to 7-3. You know, Bob, we were just talking about the pressure that it appears Nick Vandenberg is playing under. You know, pressure doesn't always manifest itself in the back arm, the cueing arm. I think Nick has made a couple of very bad decisions. One of them very costly. The other could have been.
Right about that, Jim. I guess the brain, just like the muscles, when it gets tired, it starts doing funny things. But there's nothing funny about the way Thorsten Hohmann has just grabbed this match by its throat, and another very makeable layout at his mercy.
Yeah, very noticeable. Thorsten started to pick up the pace too. We watched him. He kicked off this tournament on this very table in the round robin stages, and he whistled through his match, was under pressure early, answered the bell, and then never put a foot wrong. But when he's playing well, he plays at a very quick pace.
Thorsten Hohmann has really proved over the last year that his World Championship victory in 2003 was no fluke, because he won a Euro Tour event, he won a big straight pool event in New Jersey, and really, we saw him, he came to the Philippines, reached the semifinals of a tournament there, so he has really blossomed into a quality player, and he says he's better now than he was last year.
It's exactly what I said in some interviews leading up to this event. I think he's more traveled, he's more seasoned, I think he's got more self-belief, and more importantly, everyone around the world now knows he's a world-class player. So that intimidation factor, having the title already in your hip pocket and the game to back it up. The 9 down, and just one more rack now separates Thorsten Hohmann from a place in the last 32.
Another corner ball down. But this time, perhaps nothing straightforward on this one. Good hard break. And the question here as we look at this shot, does Hohmann have a cut on this one into the corner pocket? I'm not so sure.
Well, he's got two options. Obviously, the aggressive one would be the bank shot, and the defensive one would be to try and hold the cue ball in between those colors there and bank the one up table. Well, I think that's what he tried to do. He just didn't get it deep enough. You saw him willing that ball to get in behind those two colors. Not this time, Thorsten.
And the race towards the finish line will have to wait a few more shots for Thorsten Hohmann, because Nick Vandenberg, a chance here surely to knot his opponent up in some kind of a safety. This table not looking very offense friendly at the moment.
It's a messy looking table, isn't it? Both Hohmann and Vandenberg trying to get into the last 32. They'll book a date with a couple of Taipei players who'll be locking horns. Chin Ching Kang and Hung Xing Wang, the winner of those two. Hohmann really with a much easier safety option here now. A thin clip, bring the cue ball off the two cushions, and back down behind his choice of color near where he's cueing.
Uh-oh. For a moment there, it looks like the 9 was going to guide that white into the pocket, but instead, the white has found sanctuary behind the blue 2.
Yes, anxious moments here for Hohmann when he saw that cue ball flicking off that 9, because that did threaten the corner pocket. As it is, it's going to be Nick Vandenberg once again in familiar waters, trying to extricate himself from this hook.
That's a fair effort, but it's left a shot for Thorsten Hohmann. Now the one here is on. Can he find a way to avoid those balls with the white on the way back?
That's the danger, Bob. The natural angle takes that cue ball off the two cushions towards pink and red, and he's got to clear those to get on that 2 ball.
I think that shot deserved a little bit of applause, don't you think?
Is this the beginning of the end for Nick Vandenberg's run in the 2004 World Championships? In 7 shots, it could well be.
This looks like the hardest shot of this rack. Here, he's got to take the 3 and then get position on the pink 4, I would imagine in the same pocket, so he might have to do some work with the white.
Yeah, he could even try and just hold this. Just pinch the pocket a little bit, play that 3 into the left-hand side, and just kill the cue ball into the middle of the table.
Yeah, from that angle, there's a lot less angle than it looked like from the other angle. So he's in open water now, you would think.
Not since Earl Strickland in 1990, 1991 has the world champion successfully defended the title. And that's what Thorsten Hohmann is bidding to do in 2004.
And Nick Vandenberg can just about pack his cue up here. Just can't imagine Thorsten Hohmann making an error from this position. He brought the World Championship trophy back to Taipei, and it seems very much that he wants to keep it. Thorsten Hohmann. The 9-ball is down, the fist is raised. Thorsten Hohmann of Germany proceeds to the round of 32.